Here we go. Right, so you get out of the way. So the only handsome person in the video is moi. Thanking you. I don't share my beauty with nobody. Yeah, here we go. Right, so how we're going to make, I'm going to use the short crust pastry first of all. Equal amounts of flour to the fat. Right, and we're going to do the rubbing in method. Yeah, so the rubbing in method. I want it to turn into like breadcrumb type thing. Now the secret of making good short crust pastry is to put as little water as you can. Enough water to bind it into a paste, because the more water you put in there is the chewier the pastry becomes. Right, so you see, I get my breadcrumb texture, and then don't worry guys, we're doing this next one. So this is my breadcrumb texture. Normally the best way to do it, when I was trained, is to put the pastry on the table. Right, now, notice what I'm going to do now. What am I doing now? I'm using one hand, I'm using one hand, I'm using one hand. Right, it might be obvious to some people, but you see some of my students, and they get all hands dirty. No. You only need one hand, the other one you can use it to add the water. Yeah. It's important. Right, now I'm hoping that this is enough. I didn't measure the water. If I was going to measure the water, I'd start with something like 50 millilitres. Yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm going to mould this pastry into that pastry, yeah, or that flannery. So the best thing to do is to make sure that you've got some flour on the bench. Not too much. Now I'm using the bread flour, but it's not going to matter whether I use bread flour, self-raising flour, or plain flour for dusting. That's not going to matter. It matters when you're, for the quantity, when you're doing it for the ratio. But it doesn't matter what you used for dusting, but it's only on the surface. And all I'm doing is making sure that the pastry can slide across like that. I'm just drying it out, yeah, and making it easy to work with. Now, the rule of the game is whatever shape you want the pastry to be, try and make it that shape. So if you're doing a rectangle, you make a rectangle. If you're doing a circle, make it round. It's going to be easy when you're lining your ring. The other thing is that when you're making a pastry, don't push. I'll show you how to do it. You place it into the ring. You don't push it in there and with your fingernails or whatever. No. So this is it. As you can see, this is going to be a good pastry. How can I tell? Because it's firm. It's not sticky. It's not sticking to the surface. I didn't use a lot of flour to dust the surface, and it's easy to work with. I wonder if I got the strong flour. Time will tell. If the puff pastry don't puff, I'm looking at you. Right, so here we go. I'm trying to keep the same shape.
Can I just ask a question? Do you have any baking powder?
Oh, no. Not for this one. Right. Pastry is different from cakes, right? Or cookies.
So how thick are we aiming for?
Right. So yeah. Now notice what I've dusted up, what I'm doing now. I'm going to do that. Yeah? I mean, once upon a time I was able to judge it really well, and when I make my pastry it fits exactly into the thing. But out of practice. But never mind. So what I need to do now is to bake this blind. What does that mean? Anybody know?
As it is without any filling.
Cook it without any filling. Alright, so I'm going to shove this in. I'm supposed to have
Bacon beans.
bacon beans, yeah? What I could do, get some cling film and put some sort of weight in there.
The ramekins.
Ramekins will do. Shouldn't really, but it's not good practice. What Kelly does is she puts flour. She weighs it down with flour. If you're looking at in pastry, you'll see these bags of cling film full of flour, which is excellent because it's cheap. You know, I mean, other colleges I've worked at, they have a bacon because unnecessary expense. Yeah, so I'm going to put something in there to weigh it down. This makes sense, doesn't it? It's oven proof. I didn't need that, did I? So, all right, that will go into the oven. Once I turn it on. Temperature about 140. 170 is okay, but sometimes I like to work with a temperature that enables me to do something else. Right, that's that done. The next one is rough puff pastry. 100 milliliters of water, 200 of flour, and I've got 200 of butter in it. This is 150, but I'm going to use it all up. The difference is, this time, we're going to do what we call the folding method. Right? And the folding method, to be honest with you, I learned to do this in a secondary school. Yeah? Because they used to make their own sausage rolls and Eccles cakes. I like Eccles cakes. Yeah? And this is where I learned to do rough puff pastry. Right. So the folding method goes something like this. It's got a lot of butter in rough puff pastry, and it's called a laminated pastry because it has layers. So we used to make it and then cook it the day after because so you put the butter in the freezer and the water in the freezer because the colder it is, the better the results. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some folds in it. Yeah, so I'm going to fold it like that. I'm going to fold it like that, and like that. And that is how you create your layers. Yeah? And then I roll it like that.
Same kind of thing for a croissant, though.
Then it is the same thing for a croissant, I do believe. Though a croissant is a yeast product, right? And I'm going to say that one to you, I've never made croissants. Well, I'll leave that one to Kenny. Put it in the fridge. Put it in the freezer, it's quicker. Now I'm going to fold it again. Right. So that's been baked blind. I'm then going to do my roux base. That is what. Right. So for the filling, I am going to sort off some vegetables.
Why no carrots, Chef? Why no carrots?
Steak and mushroom pie. Right. What I've done, I added garlic, salt, pepper, bay leaf and water to the stock to give it a flavour. But no onions. I could have added the celery and the onions to the stock, but I wanted to add it to my roux. Yeah, but you can put it. You don't have to do it this way. You can put it in the stock. But this is how I'm doing it. And I've got my mushrooms. And I'm going to add that. Yeah. To my white Duripot. Yes, you can add a bit of carrots to it, but really and truly, with the steak and mushroom pie, you know, you might get a bit of onion in there, but you shouldn't get carrots in there. Yeah. So. Not too much oil, we don't want a greasy pie. Turn it a little bit, let it cook quickly, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of flour to that. Once I add the flour and the stock, I can then adjust the season, I can taste it if it needs more salt or what have you. Yeah? I'm not measuring the flour, but at a measurement between 5 and 10 grams. I'm just going to sprinkle it in there to soak up any excess oil. Yeah? So there's not a lot going in there. Yeah? Corn flour, tomato puree is also a thickening agent. So I'm going to add a dessert spoon, added flavour and texture, tomato puree. Then I can add my stock slowly. And it will start to thicken. Because of pie filling, I don't want it too runny. If I turn that down, I can pick out the bay leaves that I don't want in there. And I can chuck in that, can't I? And there is my pie filling. So all I've got to do now is take the pastry out of the oven and fill the pie.
So just to clarify, you've got two different pastries for the pie.
short crust pastry for the bottom,
For the bottom.
half for the top.
Right, cool. Just like to make sure.
Yeah.
It's fine, yeah.
Right. So can you see? Right. The consistency, yeah, and the amount of liquid that you need, thereabouts. Yeah. You want it to be 2 parts meat, 1 part liquid. Yeah. If I then just, here you go, add in the filling to the pie. And then, and it's a good question, because at least it's more unique. Anybody got a pastry brush? Right, at least it's unique. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't want to make it like a manufacturer's product. We want to make it so it's our signature. Yeah? Yeah. So could someone take,
I like that
thank you.
signature better anyway. Because it's like you added the puree.
Well, wait till you taste it before you make any comments. Like as well, ugh, you know. But
But you got mushrooms, so I'm good with mushrooms.
But wait. Could you pass the pastry out of the freezer, please? Right. Now, folks, this is a very quick rough puff pastry. It shouldn't take this quick. So bear in mind, hopefully mine will be rough and puff. Yeah, but if it don't, yours will next week. I'll take it because you did it over 2 days. Right? So here we go. Roll it out.
Blue pizza, man. Started filming it.
Is it filming again? Yeah. I'm good. Right. Don't worry, I'll stick it on Google Classroom. Right. So there's no need to watch any soap operas tonight. You don't know. Right. So I'm going to do a fold again. Right. I think you're supposed to do something like 3 folds, but we haven't got the time tonight. Time is not on our side. So I'm going to use this last fold as the final product and hope that the pastry does what it's supposed to do. Yeah? Right, let's hope it's rough and puff, eh? If it's not, it's your fault. If it comes out good, it's my brilliance. As you don't know. Right. So, normally, when I'm putting a pie lid on, this is what I do. Can I get a small knife, please?
Utility knife.
A little bit knife, yeah. Right. I brush the opposite side of the pastry. Yeah? Cheers. And I'll try and brush down here.
Would you not trim the?
No. We'll trim it after. Right? Shrinkage and all that. Right? I'll turn it upside down. I'll put it on. Like that. Yeah? Then. Right, so there's the pastry. All done and dusted. What I'm going to do now is shove it in the oven and hope for the best. As you do, eh? However it turns out, it will be delicious. Here it goes. Right, okay. It'll take about 10-15 minutes. Now, that's me and my demonstration. Right, all you've got to do now is do your soup. Here we are. Parsley, as I said before, it does make a big difference to the flavour and the presentation. Right, so I was going to give you a quick demonstration of how to chop parsley. Right, because this is the last thing you're going to throw into your soup before you bring it here and show it. Yeah?
Are you trying it as well?
Hmm?
Are you going to be trying it as well?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Right. And then there's pie there. It's all nice and ready, waiting to be eaten. So we'll divide that up in a second. Some people looking forward to more than some.
Mushrooms.
Yeah? It's a pity that it wasn't a bigger one, you know what I'm saying? But hey, you're making your own next week. It'll taste twice as nice as mine.
Bring the containers in.
All right.
Yes.
Right. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just picking it off the what I call the flower head. Right. Don't really have, you shouldn't really have stalks when you're chopping parsley. And then it always works well with a good sharp knife. Yeah. And what we're trying to do is trying to chop it right down so it's almost like powder. Now, it's also a good idea when you're making a stock to put the parsley stalks in there. Yeah. So what you could have done, you could have made a stock separate, put your parsley stalks in there, and then strain it off into your soup. Could have done that, but hey ho, next week you can do that. Once you know the basics, then this is little bits and pieces that gives that enhances the flavour, and it's all natural. It's not no monosodium glutamate or anything like that. It's got a refreshing smell, and it gives a refreshing taste to. Especially when you put it in there, just before you serve it and it's fresh. Got the gist? Huh?
Ready. Ready.
Yeah, you got the gist?
Yep. We'll check it later.
Yeah? That will be your final presentation, your soup. Alright, so help yourself to some parsley. Okay, this is the pie. This is the final product. Let's keep putting that and how delicious it looks. Mmm, ooh la la. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I should use a smaller knife. Right, for presentation, you just want to get rid of that get that off. Right, you're going to get rid of the excess pastry all the way around. And hopefully, once I get rid of all that, it will come out somewhere nice, like that. I did taste a little bit of the pastry. The butter's unsalted, so it's not very salty. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know how I'm going to do this.
I'll try a picture of that for the camera.
Take a picture before I cut my delicious masterpiece.
Thank you.
Right. I don't know how this is going to work out. Alright. I really don't know. Right, but there you go.
Yeah.
Inside. It's nice, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah? So I'm going to try. I'm going to try and get 6 out of 1. It's going to be little bits.
Yeah.
Right,
It
but
doesn't matter. It's just a...
I'm going to try and get 6 out of 1. 6 out of the other. It's a bit hot. Now, I forgot it was unsalted butter. So, the pastry should have a nice texture, but the flavour, it won't be very salty. So, take what you want. Oh, hold on. It's, yeah. Bon appetit. Bye.